Okay. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
So first of all, let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror, which paralyzes needed efforts to convert retreat into advance. We face our common difficulties. They concern fast thought, only material things.
The deep end with Darren Lipscomb!
What's up, everybody? Got a special edition of The Deep End this week. Actually, they're all special. But this week, we got Riverman. He's my oldest friend in the world. Known him since we were...
Middle school.
Middle school. And he's also the co-host of the Behind the Mask podcast. Been doing that whole thing with me for about 8-9 years. And of course, we got Zach here. What's up, dude?
Hello.
Zach's furniture. He's kind of always here. He's the mainstay. But anyway, the topic that we wanted to talk about today is kind of the hot topic of the moment. And it's all that Florida shooting stuff, man, and gun control. And everybody's going crazy. And then we got all the conspiracy theorists talking about actors and taking away our guns and fucking let's keep our guns.
They're just trying to hide the flat earth from us, so they're staging shootings.
It's absolutely insane, man. Well, I mean, there's so much to talk about with this whole thing. I mean, we could obviously talk about the actual event itself, but then we could talk about the greater politics behind it because, you know, it's just in about a month, we're going to have another shooting, right? It's going to happen. I mean, so... You know, I understand the awareness of it. I get it that people are upset, and they should be. I just think that there's no reason to be as polarized as we are because, I mean, we have one half saying, you know, take away the guns or, you know, tighter gun restrictions, and then we have the other side.
Is anybody really saying take the guns away, like ban them?
Some people are.
Yeah.
I haven't heard those people.
You're going to the wrong websites, my friend. But no, there's obviously a lot of people that are saying tighter gun control, yada, yada, yada. But then you have the other side that's just saying, don't take my guns and all that stuff. Second Amendment. And I just think there's never going to be a resolution that way when you have two stubborn sides on polar opposite ends. Nobody wants to come in the middle and just discuss and actually build a dialogue on like, hey, let's figure out ways to have a resolution. Like, obviously, we can't take away the guns. Obviously, you know, we're not. It's not gonna happen. I mean, I'm on that side of the fence where there's too many guns, man. They're all over the streets.
300 million. It's never going to happen.
That's
There's
almost
over,
one.
I remember reading there's over 3 guns for every human being in the country.
Yeah, and I wouldn't doubt it.
So even if we banned assault rifles, we wouldn't even see the effects of that until 20 years at least, because there's so many out there already.
It would take a while. I don't even know if, man, with the borders too, I don't know if we'd ever eliminate it, right? Mm-hmm. Because, you know, there's been a lot of people commenting on forums and whatnot. I had a friend that commented that was from Australia, and they actually compared our situation to Australia. Like, oh, they emigrated to Australia. They're from America, and they're like, oh man, you guys have no idea what it's like to be here. It's like I don't fear when I go outside when I hear a firework. And I don't think it's gunfire. I feel safe. And I'm like...
In Australia?
Yeah. I'm like, first of all, being a little dramatic there. Second of all, you can't compare Australia to America. Australia is by itself, man. They don't have any borders. They're an island. They pretty much... If they don't want guns, they can get rid of the guns. Not to mention the population is small as shit. Most of it's outback, right? Most of it's uninhabitable.
It's pretty much all abos. I mean, isn't it? Like they don't even have
like,
guns.
I mean, it's like 3 big cities, man. It's like Brisbane, Perth. You know, it's just there's like a few big cities, and that's like it. And a lot of it's just outland bullshit. So you can't compare it. And bottom line is they don't have a lot of stuff coming in because it's not just our country. Our country's a lot bigger. There's a lot more people, and we have shit coming in from the south, right?
Well, it's funny. They had the gun buyback program, and only a third of the people actually took advantage of it. So there's 75% of the other people have illegal guns in the country.
It's just, you know, it's whatever, man. At least I'm not
66. Sorry, my math isn't great.
I'm not against people having ideas and trying things. I mean, that we need more of that. But yeah, I mean, it's not going to work. And the thing that's bugging me the most is Because I would like, obviously, resolution. There needs to be some sort of progress with it, because there's not a lot of progress with it. It's just getting worse and worse and worse, and it's getting predictable. You know, when the Vegas shooter happened, it's like everybody knew there's going to be another fucking shooting in a month, and they just keep coming, which probably makes it worse, man, because you have these nutcases that it probably like empowers them. I would think, maybe. The more you talk about it and how big it is, it's like, I would think if you're a nutcase wanting to do that, it would empower you to do it. You know,
did you hear this guy called the cops on himself 2 months ago?
Well,
after his mom died?
There's a whole bunch of shit about this guy. I saw the thing about the YouTube comment that's kind of wishy-washy, and I didn't hear about the calling the cops, though.
Yeah, that just came out. That just came out, I guess.
I want to know what the FBI background check consists of if he posted that on YouTube and they didn't see it.
Oh, exactly.
Well, the thing on YouTube, that one's a little bit of a gray area, man, because I saw the comment, and you know, there's a lot of people on fucking YouTube that talk shit. Everybody on YouTube says
the YouTube wasn't even the worst one. He did one where like he recorded a video cutting himself.
Okay, so I didn't see that.
I didn't see that either. I heard about it, but
all I saw was YouTube, and that's, let me just.
It was like a Snapchat, and he was cutting himself, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy a gun or something," and then they like looked at that. They were like, "Hey, he's not a threat to himself or anybody, but he just harmed himself in the video. He cut himself."
So I didn't know anything about that, but the comments on the YouTube thing, that's what came out first. Literally, all it said on YouTube was, "I'm going to be a professional school shooter," or something like that.
Is that a profession?
Zach, look, it's not classy to make a joke like that. I mean, you should know, right? I mean, so I get it, YouTube to say something like that, but everybody on YouTube says shit that they don't say in real life. Like, that's the place to say all kinds of racist bullshit, violent bullshit. You know, people fucking get crazy on YouTube. So I can understand how like somebody would report it and flag the comment like they did and have somebody look into it, and they'd look at it and be like, this is kind of a gray area on, is this, you know, like just somebody being a dumbass with their freedom of speech? Is it a legitimate threat? I don't know. I mean, I'm not in the FBI, so I don't know. But bottom line, as far as with this whole situation with the guns and stuff, how come I think the most disturbing thing is that nobody's stopping. Everybody wants to ask, guns. Why do we still have guns? Why everybody's using it as a platform to vocalize their frustration at the other side of the fence, right? That's all they're doing. They're making it about weapons, and nobody is stopping to ask why fucking kids are fucking shooting up schools. That's the biggest thing. It's like, I get it. Guns are a little bit of a factor. Sure. I get it. Maybe a little bit. But nobody's stopping to ask. Listen, nobody's stopping to ask.
Hey, are you going to tell me fires burn buildings down now? Fires are responsible for burning buildings?
Listen, nobody is asking. How many people have you seen ask, why the fuck are kids doing this? Like, let's get to the psychology behind it. It's absolutely ridiculous. Because, I mean, like I said, you're just going to have kids going back to making fucking bombs and shit. Homemade bombs.
Make them make bombs. Because making bombs requires some chemistry know-how, and they'll probably just blow themselves up. Fuck them.
But you know what I'm trying to say? Riverman, can you please be a guy of sense here? Because he just wants to make jokes.
That wasn't a joke. That was serious.
I mean, yeah, okay. Well, you know what I'm trying to say, River?
No, absolutely. And I mean, the kid's just fucking evil, man. I mean, there's a lot of red flags out there, and nobody did anything about it. You know, the kid was bullied. There's so many different factors in this thing. That's
a huge thing. When everybody uses the gun thing as a little bit of a clutch. And look, and I just want to put it out there that I'm pro Second Amendment, but I'm not somebody that owns guns myself. I've never fired a gun. So I'm kind of in that weird area where I don't want to own guns personally because I don't feel like I need to where I'm at. But I'm totally for people that want to protect their families and whatnot. So, but I don't know. It's just everybody wants to make it about the guns right away and use it as a political standpoint when, I don't know, it kind of seems like deflection.
Because, like, we have the most guns and the most school shootings.
It's the easiest to blame is what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's the easiest thing to blame, but why can't we go deeper? And why can't these teachers and these school administrators not look back and be like, man, we should do something about bullying? Because they don't do shit about bullying.
No, they don't do shit about that. And what I haven't heard any solution. People want gun control. What's your fucking solution on gun control? You're not going to ban the AR-15, the most popular weapon in the United States.
Hey, but Riverman, don't you know AR stands for assault rifle?
No, it doesn't.
I know it doesn't. That's what everybody's fucking saying. It's fucking ridiculous.
A semi-automatic rifle. The same rifle that you hunt deer with is shot in the AR. Every time you pull the trigger, that's a semi-automatic rifle. I mean, the pistol's the same way. That's semi-automatic. There's no automatic weapons. You have to get a special permit for that, and good luck getting that.
Or a bump stock.
Bump stock, outlaw those. I don't give a shit. Those are pieces of shit.
What
anyway.
the fuck are they waiting for? Why didn't they do it after the last one, where the guy actually used a bump stock?
I have no idea. It's not endorsed by the NRA. You're not allowed to use our bump stocks at NRA shooting ranges. I mean, they don't claim them, so outlaw them. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of little.
All it is a plastic piece you sit on the back of the rifle, and every time the trigger pulls, it bumps the trigger, so it's like an automatic weapon.
Case in point, like anything else, on the political spectrum, everybody just wants to jump on an easy blaming platform. And so that's why I said the whole, you have all these people on Facebook and social media that are blindly saying AR stands for assault rifle. And they're using that as an argument against people that are trying to defend it, when obviously it stands for Armalite rifle. But that just goes to show that people are just a bunch of fucking sheep and they just want to blame something. And I get it. People are angry. I get it. When you're angry, you want to find something to blame. That's everything in life. I get it. And that's the easiest thing to blame. And then you have the media out there making it all about the guns. You have CNN, NBC, they're all just gun. They're using it as a political thing. They're using it as some sort of agenda with their politics, and then that's what gets out there in social media, and then that's what spreads like wildfire to all the fucking people out there.
They're
and then
also talking about like mental issues too, because like that was like years ago. That was always the main thing when people said they wanted gun control. They were like, "What do you mean by that?" Like, "Oh, we want our bigger background checks, better ones."
They do, and the fact is, if you have a mental issue, it's the state's job to send it in and actually block that gun purchase. So once you fill that out, it's on the states to actually block the gun purchase.
So we basically got to make it so that everybody has access to mental health care.
It's not an easy thing. I get it. I mean, it's imperfect. There's a lot of problems in a lot of places. But like I said, I would be very satisfied if we would just attempt to come up with ideas and throw fucking stuff at the wall and see what, nobody's even discussing ideas. Nobody's even talking about it. They don't even have to necessarily work, but I would appreciate it. Like, I mean, maybe it's easier said than done, but like maybe the answer isn't fucking guns, man. How about this? I've been going on about a lot. It's security in schools. If you live in a school district that has enough money to have an officer, guards or whatever, even metal detectors, when shit gets tight, that's the first thing to get cut out of the budget. It seems like it is. And, all these smaller towns, they don't even have the money for it. So, I mean, maybe it's easier said than done, financially speaking, but I would at least appreciate an idea that was presented to the people of somehow taxpayers paying for every school.
You just want the government to be bigger.
You guys want to take away the fucking guns, man. You're talking about big government?
That was a joke.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, that's what kills me as well. But we'll get to that in a second, though. Like, if it doesn't make sense, like, even when they crunch the numbers, it's just crippling. I would still like to hear options. Like, I would be interested to know how much it would cost taxpayers to ensure that every school can afford security on deck or anything like that. And fuck, God knows we have a lot of vets that could use the job.
Well, what they should do, because I'm a big NRA guy, what they should do, and they probably don't like this, but they should put a bigger tax on the rifles and the ammunition, so that will go to paying for these not teachers, but these retired vets being in these schools and everything. That way, I mean, they can actually have some sort of, everybody's not going to just bitch at the NRA for,
and
they hate kids, they want kids dead. It's like, come on, nobody wants that.
And I totally understand the crooked side of the politics, certain politicians getting backed by the NRA, accepting the donations and whatnot. It's not a perfect world. I get that's kind of fucked up too sometimes. Nobody should be pulling that hard of strings on any politician, but
that's the biggest thing. Just get fucking money out of politics.
Oh yeah, and you were talking about when you made the joke about the big government. That also blows me away, man, because you do have these extremists. Like if you pay attention to the forums online and the discussions and whatnot, there are people that are being very vocal that they would feel much safer in this country if all the guns were removed from civilians. And I'm like, are you fucking mental?
No.
Are you fucking mental? Because obviously I'm not. People tend to forget what the Second Amendment, where it originated.
Didn't Adolf Hitler say the same thing about disarming the public?
Listen, so yeah, obviously the Second Amendment was there in place, so the government is kept in check, and they don't rise up, and they don't fucking.
We're gonna need our own tanks if we're gonna take on the government.
But listen, hold up, I'm serious. So if you really think, I mean, let's just all pretend for a second. It might sound good on paper, like, hey, no more guns on the streets, only the good authority there to protect us. I don't know. That sounds fucking scary. That almost sounds like a damn near dystopia. Like some fucking sci-fi novel where no more weapons, nobody can protect themselves, and it's like Judge Dredd bullshit. You know, that doesn't sound cool at all. I would not want the authorities to be the only ones that have any sort of power.
Who the fuck is putting that forth? Like, I want to know these people.
What are you talking about?
Who are these people on the internet?
I don't know. So I'm curious, Zach. Let's put the troll persona aside because you're kind of riding it hard right now. But
I'm not.
What is your stance? What's your stance on it? Because you're a little gray when I talk to you. Seriously, like when it comes to like guns. And should we put tighter restrictions? Would you feel safer on the streets if they were all gone? Or do you think that's bogus? Or do you think the problem lies deeper as far as past the guns with parenting, with the school administrations, with bullying, with mental health? Or, I mean, like, what do you think is the answer?
It's probably a little bit of all those. We definitely need better mental health.
I would agree 100% because this kid was fucked up, right? Was he? I don't want to speak out of line, but was he autistic? Did I hear that right? Or
yeah, I think he was. I mean, he had a little bit of everything, but
not that. I mean, I don't want that to put a horrible stigma on autistic people or anything. But didn't he have some sort of problem? He wasn't supposed to be in that school, right? Didn't he get recommended to be elsewhere? Or
I don't know. I never heard that.
I'm a little shoddy on it, but all I know is it's not the answer to get rid of all the guns because any extreme is bad news. You don't want to give the government all the power. And I get it. We live in a time where you can't even think of that being a possibility. Like, what are you guys talking about? Barack Obama and all these things. I'm like, man, give it a couple of decades, and you'd start seeing that grip grow stronger, man. Like people don't realize what it was like, back in those days. It could happen again, absolutely.
It never really happened to America.
But look, it's where they came from, man. I mean, people came here, obviously.
I mean, that's why they don't see it happening because it never happened here.
But I'm saying it'll happen. Everybody's afraid of Donald Trump, right? I'm not afraid of Donald Trump, but no one can get their fucking viewpoint straight. Like, okay,
I'm afraid of him.
Like, listen. So you guys think
he's coming in here tonight? You guys
think Donald Trump is the Antichrist and things are going to go to shit with him in office, and yet you also want everybody to get rid of their guns too. Like, which side of the fence are you on? And then you have the topic of the officer, which is an interesting topic because
the one that didn't go in the school.
Yeah, that raises more awareness of.
I heard a bunch of them didn't go in the school.
So
and the sheriff was pretty much out, like defending like himself and like everything. Everything was by protocol and stuff. He isn't taking any responsibility for it, which is a fucking joke.
It's probably what he has to tell himself to keep himself from fucking tying a belt around his neck, man. I mean, he's got to be dealing with some shit if he's not in denial because
he got to be fired this guy's got to be fired quick. You think?
Well, he got fired.
No, the sheriff.
Oh, the sheriff. I thought you meant
the sheriff.
Oh, my bad.
The one that had like 50 or 40 different calls from this kid about.
I don't that's bullshit. Okay, so yeah, I didn't read about the sheriff. Yeah, dude. I mean, police officers are always going to sit there and back themselves, and no one's going to admit fault on that end, especially on the higher up of the chain. But the fucking guy that worked at the school, yeah, he's fired. We'll cut that guy loose. The officer at the school who didn't go in and he basically cowered it out. That just tells you.
Why would we expect teachers to do any different if we gave them guns?
I agree with you. Riverman and I were talking about this yesterday. I think the concept of
then, you'd also have to pay them so much more because they'd have to go through training.
100%.
Not only physically, but like emotionally.
So here's the 100%. So here's the thing. Teachers don't get paid enough for that bullshit. as it is. So, I mean, if you have teachers that already have existing conceal and carries, I don't see why you can't allow them to do it. That's fine.
Absolutely.
But, but then again, I would not expect them to get like a pay raise or anything. Schools can't afford this shit. And if you want to somehow enforce teachers to make that part of their job description where they got to like be able to handle a weapon and go do that training like Zach says, that costs money. And I'm sorry, nobody wants to teach anyway at the salary rates there are as it is. You put that in the job description. Nobody wants to do that. It's not their job. Like, there's law.
But it's your job. It's your job as a human being, though. You can't pussy out. Like, I'd go in there and die for those kids.
Great.
I mean,
but Mrs. fucking Edna Smith, 70-year-old fucking retiree teacher wants to.
It's not everybody.
Okay, so
we're talking about that. Nobody's required.
We're talking about the potentials of that, though.
That's why you open it up to concealed carry, because I guarantee you at least 5% of the people in that school would have concealed carry.
So why is it even an argument if I already said the people that are concealed carries would have the right to do it? That's fine.
Yeah,
but you're
absolutely.
right. So, but maybe the way they could do it is instead of like trying to implement some kind of rule where people have to start getting trained for that bullshit. Because like I said, watch the jobs drop off. People will not want to be a teacher anymore. But if they start changing the protocol in which they hire, so for example, like if you have a big company, they have to be fair. And even if I know the 10 people I'm going to hire for my company, I have to interview so many types of people just to say I did it, right?
Yep.
You have to be politically correct. You can't be discriminatory. You can't be any of that stuff. So you have to. So what if they just sort of changed it to where, look, we have to have, like you said, we had to strive to have at least 5 people on the the staff that are concealed carries. No,
just hire fucking security guards.
I agree
Better
too.
ones.
Look, that's another thing too. So it's like, do you pay those people more that are the conceal and carry? Because you'd have to pay them more.
Just pay them like a fucking cop.
Listen, do you pay them more, or do you just put that money into, like I said, making sure we have security on board? Younger people, not old ass fucking people like the guy that was at the school that chickened out, that never probably drew his weapon in his life. Those guys get stationed to fucking public schools and they think nothing's ever going to happen. Especially guys like that were as old as he was, that had been in the game as long as he was. Back in his day when he was young, school shootings didn't happen. This whole thing with them being a recurring thing, that's pretty new in his lifetime. So
especially in a town that was just named the fucking safest place to live.
Yes.
Apparently.
Don't call your town the safest place anywher online.
Yeah, Newtown too, right?
It's just going to fucking empower somebody to call it out and be like, I'll show you. But bottom line, this guy wasn't prepared for it. Like fucking rent-a-cop type you just, you don't either you lay down. This guy's not trained for it. He's old. Call it ageism if you want, but let's get somebody that's fresh out of the military that passes psych evals, that's totally straight in the head, that would otherwise be getting a job at Walmart. Those guys get out of the fucking military and they can hardly get jobs. They have to get a job at like Walmart or something. Let them fucking use their skills that they were trained for in the military. Let them get a job at a public school. And they're not going to be rusty, man. I'm talking like when they get out of the military, let that be a job that's open to them. I don't see how that's bad at all.
No, there's a lot of things they can do. I mean, there's not just one thing. I mean, but
yeah,
they need to do something about security
you're right.
in schools.
It could be a mix of both, right? Because so I think Todd was making a point at one point where, okay, so let's say we did make sure we had a guard that knew his shit and was up to his training and wasn't just some old slacker that was going to chicken out. But you also, let's say, let it be known to the school that, there's a handful of people on the staff that are concealed and carried, and that would probably ward off anybody from trying any shit. Because
there's a lot of people around here that's been having like free active shooter training for like teachers and stuff like concealed carry for teachers. They've already talked about that around my neck of the woods. So, I mean, there's a lot of things going to be happening, I think.
You would think if you and I were still in high school and we knew for a fact like that there very well could have been 5 teachers that were concealed and carries and we didn't know about it. Don't you think that would have made you think twice of doing something bad? Right?
Absolutely. My whole family has concealed carries. Absolutely.
I'm saying, so not only do you have like, you might have the guards that are watching the front of the building, but okay, let's say you get past the guard. Obviously, if you start opening fire, the guard should come to the rescue and stop you before too long. But one of those teachers could hypothetically be 5 feet from you when you start firing anything and you're done.
I think most of the people that do the shootings, though, know they're going to die.
Yeah, I imagine too.
And they pick schools because it's full of their peers that they don't like.
They want to make a statement. Well, I literally, that's a much better question. What is going on with fucking kids today? Why is there so much? Has this level of mental health problems always been here, or is there a reason why it is magnified if you think it is like greater these days? What the fuck is it? Is it all the prescription meds that kids are being forced to be on these days, or what do you guys think?
I blame a lot of it on social media. Personally.
Oh, you know what? That's a good point. Like, what? Think about it. I mean, Columbine aside, which happened pre-social media. Because Columbine happened and that sort of changed the game, but then it was kind of quiet for a while, right? Like that.
Those kids were really bullied.
Yeah,
like,
those kids were bullied,
yeah.
And everybody knows they fucking listen to Marilyn Manson, and that's what did it, right?
But we were all bullied.
Just kidding.
So you can't just say bully did it either.
Yeah, I think everybody was bullied growing up. I was.
So,
and we all were bullied at some point, and then bullied somebody else.
Yeah,
like later on to feel better, and then realize, holy shit, that's not good.
Yeah.
So I think Columbine, is a little bit more of an isolated thing because Columbine happened and it raised awareness for a while, which was good because, I mean, I know Riverman and I are a little older than you, Zach, but when Columbine happened, we were in middle school. Remember, Todd?
Yeah.
And immediately after Columbine, our middle school had cops on duty, right?
Yep.
And that was never before that and never happened. So kids today, if they're lucky to have that in their schools, it didn't used to be like that. And when we went to Millard South, man, they had multiple guards at the big front entrances. That was our high school. And
it's kind of like after 9/11, how they kept making new regulations to protect from the one that just happened.
Exactly. So that's my biggest problem too. In line with the fact that, okay, when something bad happens, everybody tightens their grip and whatever. And then when things calm down, it's like, okay, things are great. Let's go ahead and cut back on the budget.
That's what they're going to wait for is whenever things calm down.
It's bullshit because like you cut that from the funding because it's working. Like that makes no sense to me. Like, oh, we haven't had an accident in a while, so we're good to cut those funds. Like maybe you haven't had an accident because no one's trying any shit because you have this shit in place. Stuff like that should be, it shouldn't be reactionary. It should be precaution, right? From precaution, not reactionary, because it's always same thing, man. 9/11 happens. Oh, we're going to be extra tight on airplane security, and they loosen that shit up a little bit. It's not as heavy as it was immediately after 9/11. But
that's true.
It isn't. Everybody does that. Everybody lets it be reactionary instead of just being for precaution. So if it's in place and nothing's happening, that's a good thing. It's doing its job. It's not a waste of funds.
Like even the what's it called? The fucking the Patriot Act was designed to catch these people, and like apparently they knew about like the Boston bomber and shit before he did anything. And again, it was just like, oh, we don't know if he's being serious. Maybe he's just he's letting off steam.
Yeah, I don't know where they draw the line with that stuff, because if somebody's even making a joke about like hurting the president or something, they fucking investigate that shit hardcore. So I wonder why some threats are taken idle. I don't understand. Or, just like in the wind or whatever. I don't get that either. Maybe it's down to manpower. I don't fucking know. Maybe, I guess if you had to sit there and investigate everyone that said something threatening or questionable on YouTube.
Yeah, imagine if you're watching a monitor where it gives you notification anytime somebody uses like specific like kill president shit like that. How many of those like alerts are you gonna be getting every hour? Like, how are you gonna look at all of them?
That's what I'm saying. And everybody, ridiculous. and just threatening stuff in general. I mean, so I get it. It's just it's easy to focus in on just like, oh, this guy threatened the president. That's maybe a little easier to zone in on. But anyway, on the whole thing with the Columbine, so I think Riverman's onto something when we say social media, because Columbine's aside, that is kind of a little bit of a different thing, I think, because when Columbine happened, it was pre-social media, but it was quiet for a while. Everybody that really shook America. Now it's almost like we're used to it. Oh, another shooting. Columbine was a big fucking deal. And
Like, remember the shit they were blaming Columbine, Marilyn Manson?
That's what I said. Those kids were listening to Marilyn Manson. It's all her fault.
Video games, and they're video games now too.
I mean, we'll segue to that here in a second, but I want to say about the social media. Columbine's aside, it's something different because it was peaceful for a little while. For years after Columbine, it seemed, of major things. Lest I be forgetting something. But nowadays, yeah, it's right. Ever since, you can kind of make correlations with when social media started becoming prominent and all this bullshit with school shootings. It is, because now with social media, you can bully people on a wide scale. You can get fucking ganged up on. I can only imagine, when we were in school, we didn't have social media. I can only imagine what it would have been like to walk the halls with somebody that was getting shamed on social media.
Oh God, man.
I mean, but we don't know what it's like because we're not in school. We weren't in school during that era at all. But
apparently, a lot of suicides happen because of people getting bullied on social media.
I bet it's the new fucking thing, man. I mean, because
high school kids,
you can literally come to school and everybody's against you. And you remember how vicious rumors would start in the hallways? Can you imagine now they're online? Just vicious.
Yeah, they don't stop when you go home now, like they did when we were kids.
Exactly. And yeah, they're always constantly pestering you, and you're always, it doesn't stop. You can't. I mean, I would just have to disconnect from all that shit, man.
Absolutely.
I don't know how kids do it.
That shit.
Yeah, man. And I think parents, to be honest with you, I mean, they need to be watching what their kids are on, man. There's too many young kids with Facebooks and Instagrams and all that bullshit. And I'm sorry, if my 10-year-old, my 9-year-old, my 11 or 12-year-old even, if they wanted, like, oh, all my friends have Instagrams and all that shit, be like, look, I don't think so. Not right now. You got to wait till, because there's fucking creeps on that shit, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they're not attacking each other, man, there's fucking predators. There's all kinds of people trying to try bullshit. There's catfish fuckers. All kinds of shit, man.
Didn't you actually have to be 18 when to have Facebook?
And I don't know if you still need to be 18, but regardless, these kids, they just change their age, dude. They just say they were born in whatever year. That's all they do. That's all they do, and it's bullshit.
They did that on MySpace too.
And I get it. Like, some parents choose to just have all the passwords and whatnot. Whatever. I mean, just keep an eye on your kids. Because that's also a creepy thing that's kind of a separate topic, man. I mean, that's a big thing where you'll have these creepy old fucking perverts making a fake profile off like a little girl that's like the age of your kid and befriending him and, building their trust and grooming him and then asking for nudes and shit. And it's just fucking disgusting. You can't trust it. So it is a horrible thing. Social media, it should be a great thing, but it's used for a lot of really shitty things. And
turn this country to shit.
I think you're right, though, dude. Who knew social media was going to change the world the way it did?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It turned everybody against each other.
The idea of like a Twitter and stuff like that. Who knew? Like, we'd have the president and fucking Kim Jong-un going at it. Who fucking knew?
It sounds like a sequel to Idiocracy when you say it out loud.
It is really crazy. It is insane to think that that's the era that we live in. But yeah, it is. It's extremely dangerous. And it's like, I think one of the guys, who was it? Is it one of the guys that helped develop Twitter, or one of the guys that helped develop Facebook that pretty much admits that it's a beast that they fucking created? There's one guy I don't think he works with them anymore. I read an article, I don't know the guy's name, but he was basically saying
I think it was Zuckerberg, wasn't it?
It wasn't Zuckerberg. You kidding me? That guy's fucking rolling in the money.
Maybe it was Tom from MySpace.
No, it was a guy it was a guy that worked with Facebook. It was one of the guys that helped build that.
Not the co-founders or something.
Something like that. And he is one of these guys that, he was bought out. I don't think he has any affiliation with them now or their practices. But I think even I think I read an article where he was saying like, yeah, we've opened up a fucking Pandora's box of sorts with this.
It could have also been the guy that originally made up Facebook before Zuckerberg stole it from him.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
The twins? Was that the twins or I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, no, it is. It's like something was just out. It's just fucking crazy. It's hard to imagine a world where we didn't have it, but I mean, there's just too much bad that goes with it. And so, like I said, you can't stop technology from moving forward. You can't do it. There's no sense in even trying. So all we can do is really, really watch our kids and wrangle them and just really just keep track of what's going on and being involved with them. I know that's not the easiest thing in the world when you're like a single parent and you're just living paycheck to paycheck, but fuck, man, that's what it is. You can't stop technology, but it all comes down to parentings. It all comes down to adult figures. Everybody needs to be involved. Teachers need to be involved. Everybody. Teachers aren't stupid, man. Teachers have Facebook now. All the adults have Facebook and Twitter.
That is so stupid. If I was a teacher, I wouldn't be on Facebook.
Dude, and there's some teachers that'll befriend their students and shit.
Yeah, that is fucking weird, dude.
Oh, and well, total side note, that's a reason why you have all these fucking teachers getting busted for fucking their students, and it's like all these women.
Yeah.
Look, the thing is, and it's always women. Isn't that crazy? Here's the thing. It always happened. It always happened.
Those lucky fucking kids, man.
It always happened. But the thing is now people are just getting caught because we have all these paper trails. And it's probably happening more just because the temptation's there. It's the ease is there. It's so convenient. You got all these people on social media. You can start sending them texts and Facebook links, and you can do fake profiles. It's easy to sit there and just, to get away with it for a little while. And then, like I said, everybody's connected to this fucking World Wide Web. No one can keep a secret. Back in the day, you fuck 1 or 2 or 3 of the senior kids or whatever, and they might keep it on the DL, right? Because they don't want to lose a good thing, right? But now now they tell their friends, and they tell their friends, and your social media. Everybody gets blown up. But the teachers have social media. Everybody knows how it works. They should be accountable. They should all be accountable. So I think Riverman hit it on the nose, man. I think social media is a fucking huge thing, but we can't stop it. So what do? We got to think of other options. I could tell you what an option.
Don't let your fucking kids have it.
Exactly. I mean, if that's what it comes down to, that's what it fucking comes down to. It's absolute bullshit. Like, is there some sort of technology they could work out to where that would be tougher than just lying about the year you were born to get a Facebook? Maybe we can get to some kind of technology.
You got to pluck a hair out of your head and put it in the scanner.
Oh God.
I mean, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Every answer is going to piss off somebody else, right? If you start doing like an ID thing, it's like, oh, you're starting to violate certain rights.
They were talking about that actually. Because they have the code on the back of your driver's license.
Yeah.
Scanning that or else typing in the number or probably scanning it, I'm guessing.
And I get it. Like maybe some people will be pissed off because that's the government being super involved once again. But to a degree, man, come on. We gotta meet in the middle somewhere. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Like whatever. I mean, because it's
absolutely, I wouldn't either because I wouldn't be on Facebook anymore.
Yeah, it's not the be all end all. Well, businesses thrive on social media now. The whole world runs on social media, man. Everything does. Promotion. You have a lot of independent artists and businesses that can actually make a living because of things like social media and their own platform. But it's just a big gray area. We got to figure out a way to watch the kids and just be more involved with their lives because kids get lost in that shit, man. That's their world. It is. Yeah. People. It's true. People are addicted to their phones. Even adults, whether the parents that get onto their children about being addicted to their phones are addicted to their phones, and they probably don't realize it. My mom, God bless her soul, she's on her phone all the time, and these people they don't realize it. They don't realize, and me too, man. I mean, like
I'm the same way. Yeah.
I try and catch myself, but man, I realize, like, man, why am I looking at my phone right now?
It's that constant need of information.
Yeah, exactly. Be plugged in. Now, one thing I'm not addicted to is social media. I don't post personal shit on that stuff. I don't post that much on all that stuff. And I don't do geotagging. Nobody needs to know where I'm at, what I'm eating, what I did that day. But yeah, it is the constant information, man. You want to see the headlines. You want to see what people are talking about. And it's a little addicting. And so it is. It's like a drug, man. And I can only imagine it's worse for kids. I mean, we don't even have to talk about the fact that kids are now introduced to all of this horrible shit we never had to be subdued to when we were kids, right? So that could play into it too with mental health. We have these kids now that you have a smartphone. You have a smartphone at 9 or 10 years old. You could just look up Pornhub.
Fuck yeah!
And you can watch
that's true.
You can watch snuff videos. Your friends could share beheading videos. Look, dude, when I was a kid, you didn't get to see a fucking titty unless like your friend from 2 blocks down called and he said he found a dirty magazine in the woods, and then he called all his friends and you guys met in said woods and all took turns looking at it, just going, "Oh wow, my god,"
Yeah, but you think that's making kids shoot people? No,
I'm just saying it's rabbit holes. No, I'm not saying that necessarily is most of the time, but if you get the right fucked up kid, that's not getting any attention, he needs a little extra attention, if you know what I mean. And this kid has all this stuff at his disposal, man. Some people, okay, so it's like this. they have rating systems for a reason. So like when I was a kid and you were a kid, Zach, and Riverman was a kid, it didn't fuck with us to watch horror movies. Most kids, it's not going to, right? My parents were cool with it. They let me watch Child's Play, Friday the 13th, and, Nightmare on Elm Street and all that stuff. But there are some kids you can't argue that you kind of have to gauge your kids by how they are. Like there's some kids that you like, he can't take it right now. Right?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
So like I said, when you have the internet and smartphones, you're catching some of those kids that need a little bit of extra attention that maybe shouldn't be introduced to stuff at a young age. I know, I'm sorry, man. If I was 8 or 9 years old and I was introduced to all this fucking Pornhub shit, I wouldn't be the same person.
Yeah, it's not healthy. So, I mean, a lot of that
it's
shit.
not healthy. It portrays a very inaccurate image of what sex is. And you can get all up in the fucking the way the women are subjected and portrayed, and it's just not good. It does not portray an accurate image of what that stuff's supposed to be. You know for a fact that all these 16-year-olds that are losing their virginity are just copying the porn they watch on Pornhub the first time, right? They're trying to sit there and hold up the leg and do all the shit. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, there's no camera here. There's no camera. Why are you holding up the leg? That's exhausting. They don't know what the fuck, or they go, I mean, pardon my French, you probably have a bunch of kids. You have probably more kids ever now that are getting shit on because they're learning how to do anal the hard way. Because they think, because they're watching Pornhub and they think you can just fucking go right in. They don't see all the pre-production of what they do to make that work. My brother, Dr. Sleaze, he could tell you all about that.
That's for a different podcast there.
That is for a different podcast, but, yeah, man. So it is social media, smartphones in general. It's a beautiful thing, but it's a cancer at the same time. 100%. I'd be very interested to see if we could kind of look through a crystal ball and be like, okay, let's look at the alternate 2018 where we don't have iPhones or whatever.
But then again, like they got the same fucking internet in other countries we do.
Not all the countries, my friend.
The best countries, I mean.
So, and you're right, and it's still comparing apples and oranges. It's kind of like looking at there's a lot of, like I said, they say a lot of the states with the strictest gun laws have the most gun crimes. I think a lot of the countries are like that too. You have places like the United Kingdom, they have literally no gun crime because they don't have, even the fucking police officers have like riot guns. They don't have real guns. They have batons and shit. You walk the streets of London, down a dark alleyway at night, you're going to get stabbed with a rusty hook like the good old days. It just depends. America's kind of its own beast, man. Like I said, you can't compare Australia and like their fucking situation to America, right? And I'm not too sure what the situation is with countries like France and shit like that, that are closer to the Middle Eastern. I don't know what's going on over there. Those guys just come over and run people over apparently with cars.
Yeah, that's
and bomb.
I'd feel a lot more like I'd be scared to be over there. Let's just say that.
Yeah, so
more than I am here in the States.
But we touched on it a few moments ago, and it's a good point. Another thing that pisses me off, man, like I'm pretty vocal about it. I do support Donald Trump, and I think there's a lot of good things about the Donald Trump administration. But when he listen to me, hear me out. When he pulled that bullshit, or even if he said it in passing, even if he said it just as like a shrug of the shoulders thing in the moment, when he said that we should be watching what the kids are watching and playing as far as video games. Okay, so let me just give the benefit of the doubt first. Listen, first of all, is this 1990 again?
I know, that's what I was thinking too.
We're going to do this whole fucking Tipper Gore bullshit again? Okay, so I was going to say, now maybe he's just saying it like an old man would. I'm going to try and translate what he said into young people speak because he's an old man. And if what he meant in the very broadest of terms was kind of like what we were talking about with social media, then I agree, right? But if we're going to take what he said literally and let's watch what they're playing in video games and movies, like, no, that is the dumbest shit, man. Like, let's not start.
He's an old man. Yeah, absolutely.
So like I said, maybe let's kind of filter it into old man talk and into maybe He's kind of not too far different than what we were talking about, because I do believe we need to watch what the kids are fucking watching on these apps and all. Dude, people go on dating apps. People go on these fucking sex apps. People go on all these fucking Pornhub shit. I mean, people are getting exposed to sex. People are having sex. People are having babies younger than ever. You know, kids, they know about shit that we didn't know about at their age. Dude, Todd, how old were you before you really knew what a real vagina looked like? How old were you?
I don't remember, man. That's been
my brothers and I, when we were like 8, 9, and 10, we used to talk a bunch of smoke, like, oh yeah, it looks like this. Like, no, it didn't look like, it looks like this. And now looking back, now in hindsight, it's like, man, we were both wrong. We were both just full of shit. And then it's not until just into your preteens or whatever, you kind of realize all that shit, right?
Yeah, well, when I was a kid, I didn't know babies came out of a vagina. I thought it came out of a butthole, dude. What does that tell you?
So,
another thing is it seems like things are getting worse, but apparently, according to statistics, the human race is just getting more and more non-violent and shit.
Look, on one hand, you have the population getting really smart. You have these people that are technologically capable of doing great things. You have younger people building applications. You have younger people that can make records that sound as good as the fucking wall in their bedroom. You have directors that are getting into filmmaking at very young ages because of the technology we have and social media and all this shit. But man, there's clearly a very, very bad side to this too. And that's all I'm saying. We just gotta find sort of a middle ground. But like I said, maybe the middle ground is just the parents. Fucking watch your kids. You can't stop technology. You're not going to stop that train. So just watch your fucking kids. And even if it gets tougher, watch your kids. But yeah, dude, the answer is not censorship. My ass, as far as movies and stuff. Look, it's got to be down. It's down to the parents. Okay, I get it.
Too late.
Look, same thing. Apps, phones, we're not going to stop it. The parents, you need to know your kids and you need to parent your kids. Same thing with movies, man. I'm going to look at my kid, and if he's a smart kid and he understands the difference between fantasy and reality, right and wrong, I'm not going to be opposed if he watches a certain type of movie, but I'm still going to gauge that movie, right? I'm not going to let my fucking 8-year-old watch Saw necessarily, but I might let him watch Nightmare on Elm Street with me, right? That type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But and I'm definitely not going to let him watch a Serbian film.
No, hell no.
It's I wouldn't let my fucking parents watch a Serbian film.
No.
I don't want to watch a Serbian film.
No.
So it's just all about gauging your particular situation and parenting your kids the right way. Because like I said, I don't think adults are taking the accountability that they should.
What do you think about the solution of more guns? We need more guns.
Is that going around?
I've heard it.
I don't know if we need more guns.
Because they're they make it safer, but if that was true, we'd already be the safest country in the world because we have the most guns.
I thought you said crime rate was going down, though.
Yeah.
More guns.
Well, I guess it's not so much crime rate because people get locked up for non-violent crimes, but I guess we're getting more and more peaceful.
Can you imagine if everybody had guns, it would just turn into the Wild West eventually? Where fucking
I really don't think so. I mean, I don't know. Are you talking about carrying?
That is a day when everybody had guns, was the Wild Wild West.
Look, yeah, I know. And then you just settled shit by meeting you out front and fucking drawing.
Are you talking about everybody has open carry firearms? Are you in Texas?
Here too, man.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't know, man. I'm not, the answer is to not. There's got to be a fine line. That's all I'm saying. And I could definitely tell you, it ain't fucking censorship, man. Don't fucking fuck with my movies, dude. Hollywood sucks as it is. They don't fucking make it worse. But yeah, I mean, it's a whirlwind of things. But what's going on right now with this whole Florida thing? What is there any talks that I'm missing? What's going to happen from it? I mean, what do we think is going to happen? Anything?
I don't have the foggiest, man. I really don't.
The thing is people don't.
I know
what.
Nothing's going to happen.
Well, here's the thing.
Every time.
Here's the thing. I mean, before we even settle, there's that whole argument of when something like this happens, you have one side of the spectrum. They're like, I don't think this is the right time to talk about it. We can't use a tragedy like this to talk about political platform. And then you have the other side. Hey, you gotta talk about it.
We should be talking about it every fucking day till it's fixed.
Okay, look. I think we should definitely be talking about it, but
Can't base on emotion though.
listen, exactly. I think we should definitely, I'm kind of in the middle. I'm on both sides here. I think we should definitely be talking about it, but at the same time, don't talk about it the way a lot of those fuckers are talking about it. Because the Democrats, they all want to talk about, get rid of the guns. That's the way they're talking.
No,
about
they don't.
Gun control. It's guns.
What do you think
guns.
of that whole the whole CNN thing was whole gun control? They wanted to ban guns. That's
It's
all the
gun.
whole thing was.
So look, so when
They didn't
town-
say ban guns, though.
the old town hall.
We're
Yeah, they
talking about-
did.
I don't think they did. I didn't watch it, but
when you have
I actually just saw that clip of the NRA chick talking about like, oh, actually the NRA, we've been fighting to keep background checks our whole career. And it's like, no, you haven't. You fight to get rid of background checks. Why you gotta lie?
I don't understand why this is no background checks. I mean, everybody has background checks. I got a background check when I got my guns.
Yeah, but they're saying they need to be strengthened because they suck.
I do think
You have to buy a to get a handgun. You have to get fingerprinted. You have to get a background check. You have to go to the sheriff's office. You have to register it.
We should probably make it so that even if you're doing a fucking private sale, you gotta fucking have it on paper that you own the gun now and all that shit.
I'm all for making that a strict. I don't give a shit. Like if you really, really want a gun that bad, you should be willing to go through the work. I don't think it should be impossible to get a gun. I just think you should be willing to go through whatever hoops they.
It's harder to learn how to fucking drive.
Yeah, I feel that. So I agree. Like I said, there's definitely some
It's based on the states, though. I mean, you really can't. You really can't impede on what the states are going to do. I mean, if they're doing
Unless they're
background checks,
smoking weed.
which that is stupid anyway. I mean, the whole weed,
Yeah,
the whole
look at
weed
$20
debate.
bill on weed.
Okay,
All
so
right.
that's a nice segue into the fucking the conspiracy theorists and all that bullshit. Illuminati, is that what you're trying to get at, Zach?
No, I was quoting that scene from fucking Half Baked.
The Illuminati shit though, but that is funny though. You got all these people all those people come out of the woodwork when something bad like this happens. Michael Bauer. Okay, you guys probably don't know who Michael Bauer is. He's the guy that was on this show called Salute Your Shorts on Nickelodeon in the early 90s, but he's fucking bad shit, and he's all about it, and he's a flat earther. Don't even get me started. He's a flat earther, man. I follow him on Facebook, and I screenshot everything he does, because I can't share his stuff. It won't let me share his stuff, because he knows he's bad shit, and people probably will expose him, but I screenshot everything and I send it to these guys. I'm like, we'll get a load of this shit. But whatever. It's funny though, because I'm not one of these extreme conspiracy theorist guys at all. But man, I mean, I don't know, man. I will admit it is kind of like, it does look pretty fucking shady with that one kid that they're saying is the actor. You know, and they have the video footage.
No, it don't.
What?
Leave him alone.
I'm not saying I know either way, but I will admit that it does look a little fishy. But
What? What'd he do?
the kid that was on footage where it looked like he was rehearsing his lines, and I get it. You could perceive that as,
You mean when he stumbled on his words?
listen. I get that too. It looks like he stumbled on his words. You could take it either way. But what about him working for CNN as a young,
Well, you know, he's just a cog for CNN.
If they were gonna fake this shit, why would they have let footage of him fucking up his lines get out? And why wouldn't they have just refilmed it?
I couldn't tell you, man. But I'm just saying the fact that he had ties with CNN prior, and he had been at other. Wasn't he at other fucking shit? Wasn't he caught?
Yeah.
He was at a beach, and like a local news station came up and asked him questions about the beach. Like, how do you like the beach? And people are like, see, he was on the news. He's an actor.
I don't know what it is. I'm just saying it does look a little fucking shitty. That's all I'm saying. But I don't know. It's a string of coincidences. And I'm not saying like shit was fixed at all. I'm not going as far as saying that. But would I put it past someone like CNN to have like these little fucking people that go in and that they're on the payroll to give themselves good coverage?
That enroll into the school in
Wait.
advance.
What CNN is doing is they're basically just pulling students that go to school there that want to throw their agenda out there with gun control bullshit. That's all they're doing. I mean, the kids go to school there, but they want to find the kids that want to ban guns, and they sit there and interview them every fucking 10 minutes and plaster their pictures everywhere. They just want to push their agenda. That's why they chose them.
And then Hillary Clinton drove by and emptied her septic tank in the streets.
What?
Look, I don't know. I don't fucking know. I'm not a Michael Bauer. I'm not a fucking Alex Jones. I'm not all that bullshit. I'm not into all that stuff. But at the same time, I mean, I could just say some stuff does look weird sometimes. That's all I'm saying. Sometimes it does. But it is what it is. It doesn't change anything. I'm not going to question that fucking different people have different motives for things. What did you guys think about fucking little Marco getting fucking getting eaten alive up there on that stage? You guys see that?
That was funny. I hate that fuck.
That was funny, little Marco Rubio.
Oh man, that guy. It was in a lose-lose situation by going into that town hall where everybody
just tell the fucking kids you'll stop taking money from the NRA. It's that simple.
So I'm on Riverside on this part where it's like he wasn't gonna come out pretty no matter what.
No,
neither
was Dana Lash either.
So he can't exactly not show up to something like that. It's not going to look pretty. So, I mean,
I wouldn't have done it. I would have said just put it on like a neutral network and have like neutral, people moderating the event. Not
a neutral network like what? What network is neutral?
Throw it on CNN or throw it on someone and have a person from Fox, a person from MSNBC, people who are actually moderate.
Fox?
People
Come on.
who are moderating.
They were caught photoshopping people's pictures.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
Wait, hold up. Hold the phone. So you just defended CNN on what they're capable of, but you just sit there and just threw Fox under the bus for doing shady shit?
Yeah, that was the point I was making. None of them were fucking credible. I wasn't defending CNN, but Fox is the one that were caught, like, they were, like, photoshopping the pictures of people they wanted their audience to not like, oh, this fucking liberal. Look, we photoshopped his teeth yellow and we gave him a bigger nose. Wonder what we're saying with that. He's a fucking Jew.
Man, look, I don't know. The Marco Rubio thing wasn't going to turn out pretty no matter what. And should he have said it? I mean, I don't know, man. The whole NRA question, I get it. He could have said what that kid wanted to hear. But at the same time, he was caught in a crossfire. Like, man, my career is going to be over. If his career isn't already over, it's like, fuck, I can't just burn one of my huge sources of funding. Huge
sources. He got $9,000. I'm sure that's not a huge source for him. Yes.
Okay. Well, then
the biggest one was Donald Trump. He got like a couple million.
Well, because they endorsed Donald Trump. That's why.
So I don't know, man. Who fucking knows? Maybe Marco Rubio straight up didn't want to lie to him. Maybe
no. It was.
That would be fucking new.
It was just stupid for them to go on there. I wouldn't have went on there. I wouldn't go on CNN regardless.
Dude, the look on his face, man. The look on Marco Rubio's face. He literally
can't argue with a little kid, dude.
Dude, he was getting owned by a 16-year-old, and I just don't feel like I don't know if he had anything he could say. It was literally, he just had to take a tongue lashing.
Yep.
And just the look on his face, if you could find the still frames of it, it literally looks like he's contemplating suicide, like my career's over. My career's done. It's just the looks on his face.
He's not going to get paid to sit in a fucking chair and not do anything while our taxes pay for his health care and all that shit anymore. Poor guy.
Oh, Lil Marco.
Yeah, that was pretty funny when Trump demasculated him, man. That was great.
Lil Marco. I know, it's pretty funny. So, Riverman here, he's looking forward to 2020 just so we can have round 2 of that.
Absolutely, dude. I'll vote for Trump again. Absolutely.
Will they actually require Trump to answer any fucking question at them this time is what I want to know.
They might approach him differently this time since they know what he's capable of. But, man, I mean, whatever Trump does, if it works, man. He's really good at deflecting.
Trump, what do you think of this issue? Hey, Rosie O'Donnell's a fucking fatty.
Dude, look, he knows how to shift gears, man. And look, there's no way you're going to have all the answers anyway, man. He's on to something. The way he deflects, man, people are knocking on him for not answering a damn question.
At least have some fucking answers.
Dude,
don't think that vaccinations cause fucking autism.
I feel pretty confident it's 2020 because the Democrats don't have anybody. So I think he's pretty much a shoo-in right now unless they pull somebody out of their ass.
It's early. I mean, unless there's a better candidate like on the conservative side. I mean, yeah, at this point, I mean, yeah, I'd vote for Donald Trump, but it's too early to say any of that. But who knows, man? We'll see. Maybe it'll be Oprah and Dwayne Johnson going head to head with Donald Trump.
Better not be,
dude. That is bullshit. Which, first of all,
if they run a candidate like Donald Trump to beat Donald Trump, that'd be the stupidest.
It makes no sense to me. Which, in Oprah's defense, She never said it. It was a campaign that was that got fire and steam outside of her. And, hopefully, but that.
I think Oprah also believes in like pseudoscience and that vaccinations cause autism.
Look, I mean, Oprah.
I think they're going to bring some gay guy out and try to run, I'm guessing.
I would vote for a guy sucking a cock any day.
Oprah Winfrey.
Bring out John Travolta, dude.
Oh, Lord.
Sandy!
All right. So I get it. Oprah Winfrey, she's sort of like the best example of somebody coming up from rags to riches and the American dream and the whole deal as you can get. But she's still a celebrity, man. She's still a celebrity, and you can't vote like that. That'd be stupid.
Well, so is Trump. I mean,
no, exactly. I agree.
Celebrity.
And like, why do they want to like what's that said?
What's your guys' deal with running celebrities? A guy that was in shitty movies with monkeys and a fucking guy that was on The Apprentice. Why do you guys do this?
Who was in the movie with monkeys? Mark Wahlberg.
Reagan, yeah.
Reagan was in a monkey movie.
Yeah, he was a big actor.
He was in Ed.
Yeah.
Dunstan Jackson.
I don't know.
Not a good monkey movie like Planet of the Apes, though.
It's probably one of those old movies where they had people like Mickey Rooney dressed in Chinese yellow face.
Mm-hmm.
Breakfast at Tiffany's, But anyway, so it's just a topic that I thought we should have addressed. And, that's what this podcast is for. I don't feel like I can talk about it anywhere else. Certainly can't talk about it, in the workplace. You guys can't talk about it in school. You can't talk about it. You can't even hardly talk about it with your friends, So that's what this place is for, and I just felt like getting it out. I don't really know if we came to any conclusions or anything. It wasn't about arguing. It wasn't about, coming up with answers. I just wanted to vent. But let's do a roundtable and just kind of come up with final thoughts, and we'll kind of close it out. Riverman, what's your final thoughts on all of it? Everything.
Final thought is I love guns, and nobody's going to take my gun away. No, I'm just kidding. Which I do love guns, but social media. Like we were talking about before, I think it has been a big downfall. And the fact that people fight with each other all the time really pisses me off. People bully each other. That doesn't help out the situation. Be good to one another. That's all I can say.
Be excellent to each other. Zach, what's your final thoughts?
Fucking 21 years or older to buy a gun. Do that shit.
I'm not against that.
Checks.
I'm not against that either.
Fucking...
So 21 for the voting age then too, huh?
I don't know. I'm open to suggestions like that. There's nothing wrong with there's got to be some middle ground.
Okay, let's make it so that they can get them at 18, but let's also lower the driving age to 18 and the alcohol age to 18. Let's show some consistency at least.
That's fine with me.
Yeah, you get 16-year-olds off the road. Oh Lord.
And 18 to get off their parents' insurance too. How about that?
Oh fuck that.
And my final thoughts are kind of with Riverman. I think social media, it's fucking huge, man. There's correlation with with how all that came to rise and the prominence of all the school violence and whatnot. And also just the topic of, look, security in schools is a big thing. I'll end it with a story pertaining to Riverman in my high school involving security. So we went to a school called Millard South, class of 04. And when we were in high school, we had security, big open giant front doors. And, right in front of the entrance, when you walked in, you took about 5 paces and you were in the main office. Do you remember that, Riverman?
Yeah.
Okay. So class of 04. And I remember, I don't know, maybe 06, 07, something like that. Probably around that. A couple years after our graduating class, a kid who had been suspended for streaking on the football field, some new kid in school, he walks in during class periods, so it's quiet, and he just strolls right in the front door, armed, and walks right into the office and just starts blowing it away, and he injured damn near everybody in the office. He killed our vice principal. He might have killed somebody else. Injured, but I just remember he killed the vice principal, Miss Casper, right?
Yeah.
And I can only imagine that. I was thinking to myself, how did he get away with that? Because when we were there, they had the guards at the front, which makes me think they cut that shit. They had to have. They had to have cut that stuff. There's no way that kid would have gotten away with that bullshit. So I think social media is a horrible thing. Maybe that's kind of breeding some of the unstable characters. But come on, like security works. Tightening up security and adding all that shit should not be reactionary. It has to be precautious. That's my final thought. That's it.
Nice.
My Jerry Springer final thought. All right, everybody, let us know what you think, what your opinions are. I'd like to build a dialogue on this topic, actually, and I would love to try and keep up with it. So comment on, if you guys are on YouTube, that's great. Comment there, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. If you guys are on iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you get podcasts, do the same as well. Leave feedback too. If you think we deserve it, 5-star ratings would be appreciated in any comments you got. And I'll try and address as much as I can. And that's all I got. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye. Puppets.
Remember on Jerry Springer when you give the final thoughts and it always end with somebody in the audience going, yeah. Like they always like what he said moved them and they're just like, yeah.
Here's my final thought.